Alright, welcome to the second in our series of engine assembly. This video will cover piston through crankshaft installation, cam gear, and timing. We're working again on a 1650 Briggs & Stratton horizontal shaft engine, specifically model 21T212. One of the first things we're going to do here is make sure everything is clean. As you'll note here, we've wiped everything down, cleaned out all the particles from as we were taking it apart, scraped off the gasket that was around the sump. As I mentioned in our previous video, we do not have new gaskets yet, so we'll be using some temporary paper gaskets as we reassemble this. The head gasket also was not completely scraped off because we need some of that left on there, and again, when the new gaskets arrive here in the next couple weeks, we will go ahead and pull it apart again and scrape that off. Normally that would all be done before you start this assembly. You want to make sure everything is oiled really well as you're putting it together. These are friction points that can cause heat and wear, so make sure everything is clean and well lubricated with oil. Some teachers I know use grease, but we're using oil as recommended. When you slide it in, be careful that the oil seal on the back side does not get pinched or pushed out, so that it still has an oil seal on that mag side. As you're putting the piston in, make sure that the rings, the end gaps, are not aligned. That will cause some compression issues later on, so make sure those are not aligned. Ideally, they would each be offset the same distance. And again, we're coating everything with oil. We've already cleaned this. This helps slide the piston in. Make sure you're oiling not just the piston and the sleeve, but get down on the piston skirt and make sure it's got some lubricant as well. Oil it all up. You can't put too much oil on here. Oil wipes up rather well. You make sure that you align it. The connecting rod will tell you which side is out. So PTO obviously faces the drive end. It says mag on the side that faces the magneto, or where the flywheel would be. Make sure it aligns well and sits in your sleeve. Some of these are slightly oblong and do present some problems, so make sure it slides in nicely as you put your ring compressor on. This piston's almost too big for our compressor, but we get it on here. You're going to tighten it up enough that it compresses the rings down so you can slide the piston in, but not so tight that you can't just push the piston in with your fingers, or give it a gentle push into the cylinder. It will catch slightly, usually on the ring, so just kind of wiggle it in place there. It should nicely slide down into the piston sleeve. Make sure that your crankshaft is rotated out of the way so that it's not getting hung up on your crankshaft as you're pushing that in. Once that's in all the way, then we're going to go ahead and move down and put on the connecting rod cap. This has, in this particular model, it doesn't really have a wrong way, so both directions that you would put this particular cap on are identical. It has two screws that are also identical, but on the bottom bolt there is a oil dipper. So don't forget to install that oil dipper. Slide it onto the bolt before you put it into the rod cap. And we're going to go ahead and fast forward here for just a minute and get these bolts tightened up, which takes a little bit of time. We have the bolts dug down finger tight. We're going to go ahead and torque them. Briggs & Stratton says 175 inch-pounds on these. So you release the lock screw, so you can then adjust as you spin the dial. You increase the torque. Here on the left you see an example. This is not this actual wrench, this one's in foot-pounds, but very similar. So we're going to go ahead and tighten those down until we hear a click, or you feel the handle just break just a little bit. And once we get that, then we're ready to move on to the second one. We do the same thing there. Tighten it down until we feel the break. And now we're ready to move on. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we can actually turn this by hand. So we don't want anything bound up in there. We want to make sure we've got enough lubrication on everything. So it should be able to turn by hand nice and easily without anything catching. You shouldn't feel any grinding. So we know now that we have everything in place, the oil slinger's on the right side, it's not going to hit anything as we try and turn it. Now we're ready to put in the tappets. So we have 2 tappets to put in. This is a part that seems to get forgotten a lot. So as you are putting your engine together, please make sure you find the tappets. You're tempted to think that those are valves, and they're not. Those are tappets that need to go in right now. So we're going to put the tappets in. Lubricate them just like we have everything else. We're going to get the both of them in place. And they do tend to fall out, so make sure they stay in as you are turning the crankshaft. So we're going to turn the crankshaft. It has a timing mark on that gear, and it's a little dot. We're going to put that dot, the timing mark, so it's facing towards our tappets. When we get it pointed towards our tappets, then we're going to take our cam gear and we're going to lubricate the cam gear. We need to make sure that we are lubricating both journals and both lobes so that everything is where friction could occur before the engine gets a chance to lubricate itself has plenty of lubrication on it. We're then going to look for the timing mark on the cam gear, also a dot in this particular instance, but frequently can be more than it could be a line rather than a dot if it's a plastic cam gear. Once we have that in place, then we're going to go ahead and lube up the PTO end bushing. Some of these will have a bearing there, but ours has a bushing. And then we're going to look at the mechanical governor, this governor gear with its wings. Inside the wings is a cup. The cup in many model engines will fall out. And then we want to look inside at our governor arm. We want to make sure that that paddle is going to be on the side where it will actually touch the governor cup, but we want to make sure right now that it's out of the way so that it doesn't interfere with anything as we are sliding the sump cover on. So if we don't, it's very easy as you start to tighten these bolts that you will then bend that, and then you'll have to pull it all apart, straighten it out, or replace it before you can move forward. Once we slide this on, we make sure everything fits nice and snugly. We're going to go ahead and put the gaskets in place, and we're going to put in all of our sump bolts. Briggs & Stratton has a specific pattern that they ask you to follow. They want you to torque these to 175 inch-pounds, and they want them torqued so that you go from right to left and then bottom to top, kind of moving around just like when you're installing a tire, so that everything is torqued nice and evenly. As we get all of these torqued, the next thing we need to do now that we've got everything put together is we need to figure out if we have enough end play. That crankshaft as it turns needs to have just a little bit of room to move front to back. So we're going to use a dial test indicator, and we're going to secure that on the PTO and push it against a nice flat spot on the engine. We're going to go ahead and pull it out, tighten it up, pull it out, and look at it. In this particular case, it looks like we're at about 20 thousandths of an inch, and Briggs & Stratton says we need between 2 and 34 thousandths of an inch. So this is ready to go, and our lower half of our engine is now done. So thank you for watching this, and stay tuned for the next section, which we install the head and the remaining components. Thank you for watching this SDSU Ag Ed outreach video.